There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And it's very exciting. I'm very excited because for today, the very first time ever, we are live simultaneously. We're doing a simulcast in lisavergara.com page, ALV Group of Companies page in Facebook, and in Lisa Vergara YouTube. So yay! Thank you for joining us. So today we are on our Tuesday tune-ups. So Tuesday tune-ups, we do this videos on Tuesdays to share insights on how we could joyfully live our lives now. So as you probably know, of course, the mission of the ALV Group of Companies page is to help people joyfully create vehicles to live life now. And LisaVergara.com page is focused mainly on helping people joyfully create a thriving global digital business. So this may be geared towards, creating passive income streams and all that, but joyful living, from what I've learned, it's more like the balance between making a living and truly living life. I can go ahead now with Taglish because I have quite a bit personal story to share. So I might not be able to do another session for specifically Tagalog only. So I'll probably do Taglish. Tataglish ko na po. So, yeah, it's important for us to kind of have that balance between being and doing. And so that's why we dedicate the Tuesday tune-ups for insights that mainly touches our being, our how to joyfully live our life in general, and not just specifically on making money, because we can deal with those making money stuff in other posts or other features. So anyway, so let's go right into our topic or insight from today. So I have been reading this book, actually listening to the audiobook, A Radical Awakening by Dr. Shefali. So that's why I have this, very high-tech, very high-tech thing. And as you probably have read already, one of the so many things that have created an impact on me sa book na yun was when she said, she was asked what, Dr. Shefali was asked in one of the interviews, how can she define compassion? And she answered, compassion is self-love. So usually when we think of compassion, it's about thinking about others, it's for the others. But she specifically said that compassion is self-love. And she elaborated that, we cannot give what we do not have, like genuinely and authentically have in us. Like we can somehow, for example, give love. We think we're giving love, but it could be coming from a different point of view, a different motivation. So you mean giving something authentically, somehow we gotta have it. And part of the self-love, it's not about being narcissistic or being, just so focused just on ourselves, but it's mainly about accepting the whole of us, accepting, what we truly feel at the moment, being accepting of ourselves, being forgiving of ourselves, because it's hard for us to accept others if we don't accept ourselves. For example, if we see some things that we don't like about others, maybe it's triggering something in us that we haven't healed. Part of the journey that I have been taking, I've been learning that there are so many childhood wounds that we need to pay attention to and heal as we grow older, because unconsciously, subconsciously, these patterns that we have adapted from when we were young, it carries over in the way we live our lives now that we are grown-ups. And so yesterday, this is kind of a personal story that I'm going to share on how I kind of integrated this compassion is self-love. Yesterday, I had this very experience of, I just felt in my body that there's something different. Like my son was, maybe acting a little bit different. Like to me, it felt like there was a lot of complaining and everything. So somehow I felt like it was triggering me more than the normal feelings that it evoked when he is expressing himself. He already expressed in the morning that he had some things that he needed to process. He had some, concerns. And so something in me wasn't reacting very positively if you would see it from the outside. And there was a moment when I really wasn't able to stay calm. Um, and I really felt inside that that was a big trigger. And so at that moment, I had to I had to give myself a timeout and kind of leave the situation and just say, I just had to take some time for myself. And I don't know, for some reasons, for ladies, for mothers, we could try and say, blame it to the hormones or whatever. But from what I've been learning, especially as well from book of Eckhart Tolle, when there are times that we somehow develop this, disproportionate response to some triggers, it is a cue that something from us, something within us, we haven't healed yet, and we haven't integrated yet. And so I took the time to learn and see what that moment was teaching me. And that moment kind of made me realize that I had to take time out. I had to physically kind of just say goodbye first. Like I left my sons with my mom, because I just had to take some time. I said that I just have to go for a moment. And now I'm realizing I understand it even more, how hard it must be for parents or for some people to kind of leave behind their loved ones, like looking at the bigger picture, because they needed to do something for themselves, just to keep themselves intact, keep themselves present, or just I just developed that even more compassion, specifically to my mom. How I just realized how hard it must be for her to leave me at a very young age when I was 3 years old, 3 years old. She had to go abroad. So it must have been hard for her to do that, because she had to do that probably for her safety or so many other reasons. But as a child, I was probably thinking that, oh, why did you leave me, or things I don't know. Maybe something in me developed something in my brain. And so that's why something in my psyche is being triggered by that moment of me having to leave. And so that's when I learned that, self-love is not selfish at all. We need to take care of ourselves, not just physically, not just, of course, exercise, eating healthy and all that. That's part of it. But part of taking care of ourselves is really getting connected to our authentic self, really getting to know ourselves. Kamusta ba tayo nung bata? Kamusta ba ang paglaki natin? Ano bang are there anything that we need to somehow integrate that now that we are grown ups? Are there things that we need to acknowledge that when we were growing up, maybe we have created some pain or some stories in our head based on what's happening in our surroundings? You see, Dr. Shefali mentioned in that book that when we haven't healed something, it comes back to our lives. It comes back in different forms for us to, revisit and reconnect. And so I'm just grateful that my sons, the children really, I believe, they are the teachers. They're the real teachers. They're here to somehow, when they're triggering us, they're triggering with quotation marks. They're trying to open up things that we were trying to cover for so long. And that's specifically the moment when we have to just take time, We don't need to push away our feelings. We just have to acknowledge how we feel and ask quality question. What is this moment teaching us? And that's part of self-love. That's part of reconnecting to our authentic self. So thank you, thank you, thank you po. Thank you. Sa Tagalog, medyo mahaba siya sa Tagalog. So kung may mga kaibigan po ako na mas komportable talaga kayo na buong Tagalog lang to, message nyo lang po ako, personal message, para mag-share ako kahit personal message lang na Tagalog, ma-share ko sa inyo kung ano yung nabasa ko dun sa book. Yung book na yon is, again, A Radical Awakening by Dr. Shefali. Sobrang daming insights. Siguro I will try and share more insights on our Tuesday tune-ups. So thank you, Dr. Shefali, for that book. And then thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, we'll see you next Tuesday again. Compassion is self-love. Self-love, we gotta learn to accept the whole of us, get reconnected to our authentic self, because then it's easier for us to be compassionate of others. Like, being compassionate, I mean, is, by the way, it means that we don't say, oh, it's okay that if they're doing wrong or anything. It just means that we understand that. It just means that, okay, we acknowledge that, okay, that's possible to be done. So anyway, so thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next Tuesday on our Tuesday Tune-Ups. Bye!